Hi, everyone. I'm Olga VILLAVERDE. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul takes a jab at another possible presidential contender today during his speech in Louisville.
If we nominate a candidate who is simply Democrat light, what's the point? Why bother?
This is the second time Paul has called Jeb Bush a light Democrat. Rand Paul announced today that he was going to run for president next year. Bush has not yet announced a run for the White House. Meanwhile, the former Florida governor responds to a recent New York Times report where he listed himself as a Hispanic on a 2009 voter registration.
I guess I signed the form and made a mistake. I clearly, I am who I am. I'm not trying to, think it's kind of bizarre to think that there's some kind of plot here.
Jeb Bush also called for a stronger national defense during his trip to Colorado. Earlier in the day, Bush met with World War II veterans. A judge grants Alan Dershowitz's request to remove his name from a lawsuit alleging sexual misconduct. Jane Doe number 3 accused the criminal law expert of rape in a motion filed to join a separate lawsuit against a convicted billionaire sex offender. Dershowitz has vehemently denied all wrongdoing. He says he feels vindicated now that his name and the allegations made against him have been removed from the legal papers. In Boston, the fate of ex-NFL star Aaron Hernandez is now in the hands of the jury. The defense team argued that Hernandez was just a witness to the killing of Odin Lloyd, but they say Hernandez did not murder him. Over the course of the weeks-long trial, prosecutor called more than 130 witnesses to the stand, while the defense only called 3. If convicted, Hernandez faces life in prison. President Obama is still trying to drum up support for the nuclear deal with Iran. He says it would be a mistake to make the agreement contingent on Iran recognizing Israel.
Really akin to saying that we won't sign a deal unless the nature of the Iranian regime completely transforms. And that is, I think, a fundamental misjudgment.
In a recent interview with NPR News, the president says signing a deal with Iran is, quote, the right thing to do. Meanwhile, a top Democratic senator changes his tune on the deal with Iran. New York's Chuck Schumer says Congress should get to approve any nuclear deal with Iran. Schumer is supporting a bill that would allow Congress to suspend the lifting of sanctions against Iran. Thousands of illegal immigrant children surge into the U.S. The Washington Times says more than 3,000 kids entered the country alone last month, the highest since the peak of last summer's border crisis. During last year's surge, the Obama administration blamed it on weak economies and crime in several Central American countries. And, well, that slice of American pie is going to cost you. Singer and songwriter Don McLean's original handwritten lyrics to American Pie went up for auction today. They sold for $1.2 million. The song American Pie reached the #1 spot in the U.S. back in 1972. Love that song. And that's your Newsmax Now update. More coming your way in 30 minutes. We'll see you then.